There are currently 12 different Disney parks across 6 different Disney resorts on 4 different countries. But each park has something different to offer, which is why today I wanted to bring to you a list of every Disney park on the planet and what makes each of them so special. Let's begin with the classic, the original Anaheim, California Disneyland theme park. It opened July 17th, 1955, and in my opinion, this park has just this sense of magic and charm to it that no other Disney park has ever been able to capture quite as well. It might be because it was the only park to open while Walt Disney was still alive, but it also could just be nostalgia. That is the park I grew up with, and people oftentimes seem to favor the original of something. But the park is just magical. There's detail and there's charm and there's something new around every corner. It does have an issue. It's very tight. I'm not sure Walt Disney ever expected it to be as busy as it is today, so there are definitely some congestion points, but it doesn't detract from the magic. Even the big crowds on the busiest of days, if you look up, there's detail. If you look down, there's detail on every ride, every line. It's just the perfect park. So in one word, Disneyland theme park is perfect. Now we're gonna hop just right across the way to Disney's California Adventure, opening nearly 50 years later in 2001. I was just a wee little baby boy, but I do remember going into this park for the first time, and to be honest, when it first opened, the park kinda sucked. It was a theme park themed after the state of California in the state of California, and at that time there wasn't a lot of shade, none of the trees had grown in, there wasn't a lot of attractions. It was just kind of a hot, sunny, half day, quarter day theme park. There wasn't much to it, but the park has grown so much and it's been so fun to watch this park develop and develop. A lot of people are complaining about the addition of Disney IPs. You got the Marvel movies coming in, you got Paradise Pier turning into Pixar Pier, but this park has just a lot of charm to it. I think it's colorful, I think it's lively. Buena Vista Street, when you walk in, just always gives me a good feeling. I really do enjoy Disney's California Adventure, especially Radiator Springs, maybe the coolest addition to any Disney park I've ever seen. It feels like you are in the movie Cars. It's perfect to every little detail, the crazy amounts of red rock that they built into the park. I think Disney's California Adventure is definitely a success. I don't understand people who go to Disneyland and only go into Disneyland and don't spend another day or even get a park hopper and just check out California Adventure. It's not to be missed. In one word, Disney's California Adventure is lively. Now we're gonna hop across the country to Florida to the Magic Kingdom, the first park in the Walt Disney World Resort to open. It opened 1971, the second Disney park ever to open to the public. It's very similar to Disneyland. I don't necessarily want to call it a clone because it's not a clone. It has a much bigger scale. Walt Disney bought a ton of property in Florida because he saw how much space they were limited to in California. So it's definitely bigger, but it doesn't have too many original attractions. It is a lot of the same attractions as the classic Disneyland. There's some different attractions like the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, some attractions that are the same attraction but different, like the Haunted Mansion is the same ride but has a couple additional rooms to it. In my opinion, it's slightly better than the original despite not being the original. So Magic Kingdom, a lot like Disneyland, has some original charm to it though. You feel like you're in a different place. It doesn't feel like you're in California. So in one word, the Magic Kingdom, call me cliche, but I'm gonna say it's magical. Up next is Epcot, the second addition to the Walt Disney World Resort, the third Disney park to open 1982. This is probably my favorite of the 4 parks in the Walt Disney World Resort. I think it's a lot of fun. It's broken into 2 different sections. The first section is Future World. That's where it's got the big Spaceship Earth Epcot ball. It's kind of like a big Tomorrowland, but it's focused more on education. That's the thing with Epcot, is the park is geared more towards education than entertainment, I suppose. but it's still as entertaining as can be. The problem with Future World is, much like Tomorrowland, the future is always changing, so it does feel a little outdated, especially because they haven't had a major renovation in a long time. But there's some awesome attractions in Future World, such as Test Track, and Spaceship Earth is one of my all-time favorite dark rides. But Epcot really shines when you get to the back half, which is the World Showcase. There's a bunch of different pavilions, I believe 12 different countries currently on display, and whenever you're in one of these pavilions, you are transported to that country. I think it's amazing. There's delicious food from the countries, there's shows from the countries. There's not really any rides back there. There's one in the Mexico pavilion, and there's also the new Frozen ride in the Norway pavilion, which is, you know, Frozen, whatever. It's a cool ride nonetheless. So the World Showcase is a little less for kids. I didn't enjoy it so much when I was a tiny little boy the first time I went there, but the last couple times I've been to Epcot, I've just wanted to spend so much time in the World Showcase, looking at every detail, trying all the food. So in one word, Epcot is captivating. I get there and I want to stay there and do everything and see everything. I'm captivated. Up next, the third park in the Walt Disney World Resort, which is, by the way, the only Disney resort to have more than 2 parks. And they have 4 parks, so I don't know why they got all the love, but it's okay. Disney's Hollywood Studios, the third park, originally named MGM Studios, opening in 1989. This park is themed after 1930s Hollywood and the entertainment and movie business. When it first opened, it was really geared more towards shows than rides, and for a lot of people that made it more of a half-day park. There wasn't a lot to do, and there's still not too much to do in Disney's Hollywood Studios. I would say it's the smallest of the 4, but Animal Kingdom may be smaller. I don't actually know for sure. But the park is coming into its own. It's getting the addition of Star Wars Land, which is also being built over in Disneyland, and it is getting the addition of Toy Story Land, which is already in a couple other Disney parks. I believe Hong Kong Disney Park, which we'll get to in a bit. This park, it's a lot of fun, but it's going to be significantly better once they finish these expansions to it. So in one word, Disney's Hollywood Studios is entertaining. Our last park over in Florida at the Walt Disney World Resort, Disney's Animal Kingdom, opening in 1998. Now, I really love this park. I've always been a huge fan of ancient temples and dense forests, and this park is essentially a hybrid between Adventureland and a zoo, which is totally right up my alley, but at the same time, I know a lot of people who aren't that into this park. I think largely because of the zoo segments. There are walkthrough attractions that are zoos. You can see wild animals, you can see tigers, you can see a bunch of different animals, but unlike a normal zoo that you would go to in your town, this is a Disney zoo, so it's themed just over the top, whether you're in the Asia section or the Africa section. It's really immersive, it's really cool. But then there's obviously the rides. Some of the best theming I can think of is around Expedition Everest, which is the coolest Disney roller coaster, and if you don't think so, I don't know what to say. It's the coolest ride, and the whole area is themed like Nepal. There's Asian temples around. It's really a really cool area. But brand new, the biggest addition to Animal Kingdom, bringing it way above where it ever was before, is Pandora, which is the world of Avatar. Kind of random, in my opinion, to just throw Avatar into Animal Kingdom, which didn't previously have any Disney IPs in it. But this park, this section of the park looks really cool. I haven't been there yet. We're finally getting into territory that I have not seen in person, but just from pictures and videos, this looks like Pandora. The floating mountains, I hear the attractions are amazing. Just the immersion and attention to detail with the combination of artificial glowing Pandoran plants and real plants. It looks awesome. It fits right into Animal Kingdom. So in one word, Animal Kingdom is adventurous. Now we're gonna hop across the entire globe to the first Disney park to open outside of the United States, Tokyo Disneyland, which opened in 1983. Kind of like the Magic Kingdom, this is another park that is very similar to the classic Disneyland. One of the biggest and weirdest differences is that the entire shopping district on Main Street is covered in a big roof. I believe it's because of the rainstorms in Japan, so you could stay dry while you're shopping. But it's called the World Bazaar. Here's a funny joke. It's bizarre. And there's also a lot of trackless ride technology over in Tokyo, which hasn't really hit the US parks yet. Pooh's Honey Hunt, which is the best version of the Winnie the Pooh ride on the planet. There's Monsters Inc. I think it's called Ride and Go Seek. You like point flashlights at stuff to make stuff happen, kind of like the Buzz Lightyear Toy Story shoot 'em up rides, but a little more lighthearted, just shining flashlights on stuff. It looks like a really awesome park. The Tiki Room there also features Stitch, which is really bizarre. In essence, it's a bizarre version of Disneyland. So in one word, Tokyo's Disneyland is bizarre. We made it to Tokyo DisneySea. Tokyo DisneySea is to Tokyo Disneyland what Disney's California Adventure is to the original Disneyland, but DisneySea puts California Adventure and maybe every other Disney park to shame. There's a wide consensus that DisneySea is the best Disney park on the planet. It opened in 2001, and it's all themed with nautical theming, themed around oceans, themed around harbors. It's broken into 7 different sections. I'm just gonna snag my notes here really quick because there's a lot of sections. The Mediterranean harbor, it's themed like Venice. It looks like you're in Venice. There's buildings. I believe it's a hotel or an actual apartment or something that is both functional as rooms people sleep in and decoration looking like it's a building in Venice. Then you got the American waterfront, themed like 20th century America. You got classic old-fashioned cars you can ride around in, like you're on 1920s New York waterfronts. Very, very cool. Where are we? You got the Arabian coast, themed like the Arabian coast. Very cool. Adventureland, I guess that's their equivalent to Adventureland. Looks awesome. Going to Port Discovery, which looks to me like Tomorrowland themed nautical, like steampunk, ocean, Tomorrowland. Some cool stuff going on there. Mermaid Lagoon. This is an all indoor section, more aimed towards kids, themed around the Little Mermaid, like you're underwater. You got the Lost River Delta. I lied when I said the Arabian coast is like Adventureland because the Lost River Delta is really like Adventureland. Dense forests, less of a waterfront, more of a delta, I suppose. Is that like a riverbed? This is the only location that has another version of the Indiana Jones adventure, and because it's newer, it's better. The effects work better. I discussed bits of it back in my first video, the Indiana Jones broken effects videos. I want to ride it so bad. There's also a roller coaster in that section. Bam, 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 bam. And the Mysterious Island, apparently the smallest section, but you got the big centerpiece volcano that occasionally erupts with smoke and light throughout the day. You got Journey to the Center of the Earth in there, which just looks like an incredible attraction. I'm sure I'm putting videos of it over my face right now, and you're like, whoa, that's really cool. So cool, so cool. Even the rides that exist in other parks, like the Indiana Jones Adventure or the Tower of Terror, are very, very different and unique to DisneySea. So I know I rambled more than you wanted to hear about DisneySea, but I want to visit this park so bad. It looks so incredible. In one word, Tokyo DisneySea is superb. We're gonna hop across the planet yet again to Paris. Disneyland Paris, originally known as Euro Disney, opened in 1992. This is another very similar to the classic Disneyland park. I don't want to call it a clone, but it's another Disneyland clone. But like the others, it has some very cool different things about it. Like just look at Aurora's castle here. It's pink. The landscaping is incredible. It's my personal favorite castle. It's beautiful and also has a dragon sleeping underneath it. So that's pretty cool. That gets some bonus points. There's also some original twists on classic attractions here. The storyline for the Haunted Mansion ties into the storyline for Big Thunder Mountain here. They're both in Frontierland. So instead of the graveyard scene at the end of the Haunted Mansion, there's kind of a more creepy western town that you're going through. It looks very unique and different, and I definitely want to check it out. Also, don't tell anyone I told you this, but Disneyland Paris has the best version of Pirates of the Caribbean, okay? It's just the best. Don't question it. It's really good. So in one word, Disneyland Paris is charming. Right across the street from Disneyland Paris is the Walt Disney Studios Park. It opened in 2002. A very similar feel to Disney's Hollywood Studios, kind of that movie behind the scenes feel. This one does focus on the behind the scenes feel. Unfortunately though, this park isn't too well received. The Disneyland Paris park was kind of a flop at first, so they didn't have the money they originally anticipated to build this secondary park, but they went ahead and built it anyways. A lot of the detail here is kind of lacking. There's just some big flat surfaces with no detail like you would expect from a Disney park, but it is still a Disney park nonetheless, and it's being worked on, it's being cleaned up and built bigger and better now. But unfortunately it's not. It's in fact the Disney park with the lowest attendance currently. So in one word, Walt Disney Studios Park it's okay. It's okay. Only 2 more Disney parks to go. Have you found a favorite yet? The one that you want to visit the most? Don't pick yet, there's still 2 more to go. Up next, Hong Kong Disneyland over in China, opened in 2005. It's currently the smallest Disney park. It's much like Disneyland or any of the other Magic Kingdom-esque parks, but it does not have a companion park like most of the other ones do. It's just Hong Kong Disneyland. At first, it was just a clone of the original Disneyland, and I've said clone before, but this time I mean it. It was a smaller version of the same park or the same castle, and it wasn't received too well at first, but they realized that and they've been developing it. Toy Story Land opened in 2011, has Toy Story themed rides people really enjoyed. 2012 they opened Grizzly Gulch, which is kind of like Frontierland mixed with the Grizzly River area of California adventure. There's a different, it's not called Big Thunder Mountain, it's like the Grizzly Gulch Mine Train or something. It's a runaway mine train car. It looks very different from Thunder Mountain, but the same kind of idea. And then 2013, they opened Mystic Point, which is where the claim to fame ride sits. It's another one of those trackless rides. It's called Mystic Manor. You go through this house. It's in place of the Haunted Mansion, but it's not like the Haunted Mansion too much. There's just a lot of really cool effects and things that happen to you as you go through this mansion. It looks like a super good ride. And still to come, they're planning to build a Marvel Land and a Frozen Land as well. So this park, in one word, is maturing. It's not quite there yet, but it's getting there. Give it some time. Here it comes. Here comes Hong Kong Disneyland. Finally, the newest Disneyland, Shanghai Disneyland, also in China, opened less than 2 years ago in June 2016. This park is huge and it's high-tech and it's elaborate. Their version of Pirates of the Caribbean is totally different, much more high-tech, complex, has screens, all these things. Instead of Space Mountain, they have a Tron roller coaster. And this park has huge walkways. They definitely wanted to avoid the congestion that you'll see in the classic Disneyland. So you'll never be shoulder to shoulder with someone else. There's always stretching room over in Shanghai, Disneyland at least. And it looks like a really cool park, but it is still just in phase 1, so there's not a whole lot of attractions yet. So despite the wide open spaces, you're still going to be standing in lines for a ridiculously large amount of time. But they have a lot of big plans for the future, and this park has some very unique areas, and just the detail and the look of it is really incredible. Plus, they have the biggest Disney castle ever built, the Enchanted Storybook Castle. This thing is huge, and it looks like a lot of fun. So in one word, Shanghai's Disneyland is grand. And that is a comprehensive list of every Disney park currently on the planet. I hope you found something new. I hope you found a park that's now at the top of your bucket list to visit. Exciting news for Disneylander. In just 2 weeks, I will be back at Disneyland California for the first time since starting up this channel. So I'll be recording some videos there. I'll be posting some live action in the park stuff while I'm there, which will be very exciting. I might have one more normal Disneylander uploaded before then, but if not, there will be more Disneylanders shortly after then, along with the live action in park videos. So look forward to that. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something new, as always, give it a like, share it with a friend, and keep swinging by Disneylander. I've got videos in the works for you. So have an awesome evening, morning. I don't know when you're watching, but have a good one.